Hello everybody, welcome back to the classroom of English writing. Welcome back, and I hope each one of you have had a wonderful mini vacation. Let's remind ourselves of what we talked about last week. What did we discuss last week? We talked about 6 principles of concision. How to write with concision. If we don't remember the 6 principles, then here are they. Take a look, take a photo picture, or open your notebooks and take a look and see if you can remember all of them. The first one of the 6 principles is delete word that has no meaning, little meaning. Okay. The second one being deleting the words that repeat the meaning of other words. The third one, delete words that are implied by other words. And the fourth principle is replace a phrase with a word. The shorter, the better, it seems. Principle number 5, change negatives into affirmatives. We prefer yes rather than no, especially if it involves many no's, double negatives. Affirmatives are much more better than double negatives. Avoid negatives if possible. And the 6th principle is about deleting useless adjective and adverbs. So much for the revision of last lesson. In order to be concise, in order to achieve concision, there are other principles that we should pay attention to. The 6 principles we mentioned last time, was only the beginning, the starting point. As we go deeper and explore more thorough, some more principle will come up. And this is the other principle we should face in the next move. It's about redundant metadiscourse. Metadiscourse, if we don't remember what metadiscourse means, so here is a revision again. I think I mentioned metadiscourse more than a month ago. Metadiscourse is, what is metadiscourse? Do we remember? No? Okay, take a look at the definition. Metadiscourse is a language that refers not to the substance of your idea, the content of your idea. In the writing for metadiscourse, they are not related to the content of your idea, but rather metadiscourse is related to yourself. Within the writing, in many places, in order to lay out your content, your idea more effectively, you need to give direction to your readers. There are many kinds of directions. Sometimes you need to mention yourself as the writer. For example, you want to emphasize certain points. You want to remind the readers that in the next move, you are going to emphasize something. So you want to refer to yourself. And sometimes you want to give directions to your readers. For example, pay attention, readers. In the next, I want to explain this and that and that. And sometimes it's the reference to your own writing itself. Previously, I have come up with this idea, I have told you that, I have told you this. But now I want to move on. So you may also refer to your own writing. In these types of metadiscourses, these 3 types of metadiscourses, you employ different types of words, different types of vocabulary. Take a look at the first type of metadiscourse, which I just mentioned, which is related to your own thinking or your act of writing. The vocabulary include I or we, will explain, show, argue, contrast, suggest, summarize, so on and so forth. It seems verbs are more popular within this category of metadiscourse. Okay, for the second type of metadiscourse, when you are trying to give directions to your readers, you say this: consider. Now, think of this now. As you recall, look at this example. I say this all the time. I ask questions, but a lot of times I also say, take a look at this example, make a note of Note this down. I'm giving directions. In your writing, you can also give your readers directions. Mostly it's about a mental effort that you wish your readers to make. And the third type of metadiscourse is about the structure of your text. You are trying to refer to the structure of your own writing. It is the logic and the form of your writing you want to advertise. You want to notify your readers in advance. And when you do this, you use such words as first, second, last, finally, or to begin with, therefore, however, consequently. These words imply different types of logic structure. For example, consequently. If you say consequently, if you write consequently, what's going to happen next? What are you going to write next? Consequently, comma, you are going to write something about the consequence, about the outcome. It's a form of, let's say, reasoning. What flows out of what has been said, what has been laid out previously. As a result, consequently, you write what is upcoming. Three types of metadiscourse we just mentioned. They are the writer's intention, directions to the readers, and the structure of the text you produce. For these three categories, these three types of metadiscourse, different vocabularies are applied. The problem is, we love these words. Take a look at these words again. We love these words. These words, meaningful or meaningless, they at least, what do they do at least? They make your writing longer. And in appearance, if they're longer, we normally think of them as what? As being more complicated and complex concerning the thought and idea behind it. But at our level of writing, academic writing in college and the university, it's a problem. When these three types of metadiscourse are used excessively, they can be abused. In that case, the content of your writing, your own idea, the very idea you want to put across is buried by such excess of metadiscourse vocabulary. Take a look at this example. Take a picture. I'll give you 1 minute, and then you let me know what metadiscourse vocabularies are employed in this sentence. 谁来给说一下 metadiscourse 在哪儿？有哪些 metadiscourse？ 谁给说一下？我让人说啊，我找人说啊。天琪说，天琪啊，他会说，不，就坐上去。好，天琪说了第一个 the last point。好，这是哪种？我们刚才说了3种 ，the last point 算哪种？非常好 ，structure， 这是关于 structure 对吧？好，非常好。还有吗？还有哪个 ？in regard to 刚才说过对吧？好，还有吗 ？keep in mind，keep in mind 干啥呢？让读者干什么的事儿呢？对不对 ？Direction to the readers， 对吧？好，非常好。还有吗？差不多了，就这些是吧？我们至少能找出来3个，对吧 ？At least we can find 3 applications of metadiscourse within this sentence alone. If we want to fish out the real substance, the real idea part of this sentence, you can see these are the substantial words. These are the words that have substantial meanings. Men, women, relationship, greater change, work together. These are the substantial, meaningful words. The rest is all metadiscourse. So when we try to make revision, take a look. I won't ask you to do the revision. Let's take a look at this example revision. The greatest changes in men-women relationships have occurred in how they work together. Much better. Sounds much better without the metadiscourse part. We don't need that part that gives direction to Us as readers, we don't need that part that refer to the text, to the content itself. This is much better. And take a look. This is a second revision of the first sentence. Does it sound any better? The second version, we notice in the second version, only the metadiscourse part is being deleted, is being taken out. But take a look at the sentence in the green box. Long noun, long subject, long noun as subject. Take a look. The greatest change in men-women relation. Very wrong. Do we still remember? When we make sentence, we prefer, what type of structure do we prefer when we make sentences that are simple, that are easy to understand for the benefit of the readers? What do? We try to make the subject as short and direct as possible. And we make the verb part of the sentence short and direct as possible. Take a look. The greatest change in man-women relationship, too long. Take a look at the second revision. Men and women have changed. The subject is much shorter now, only involving 3 words. Much better. The shorter, the better. And take a look at the verb that follows the subject. Equally short, equally simple. Nice, lovely. We love such type of structure. Simple and easy to grasp. So, we as writers, of course, we can apply, we can use, we can employ the help of metadiscourses. There are 3 types, as we previously mentioned. 3 types of metadiscourse. They are of great help, but if we use them excessively, they may bury the content of our idea to a significant extent. A lot of times, here it is said, you can usually cut out, it's safe to cut out 2 types of metadiscourse. The first one being the metadiscourse that attribute your idea to a source. Sometimes when you're writing, you want to quote other people's idea, quote other people's opinion, quote things that are discovered by other people. You will have to remind the readers that such and such a fact, such and such a phenomenon is not discovered by me, but rather discovered by somebody else. Hence, you will write, it has been observed, it has been noticed, it has been noted, it has been remembered, so forth and so on. These all imply a source of information is not yourself, but rather somebody else. In our writing, many a time, such a reference to the source is not necessary. It's redundant. We might as well just state the fact, the idea, the content directly without mentioning the source, without referring to the source. Take a look at the example sentence again. High divorce rates have been observed to occur. Have been observed. The words in boldface is a typical application of metadiscourse. And then have been determined to have another application of metadiscourse. It is safe to leave them out, to delete them, if we want to make our writing neat and tidy and easy to follow. The second sentence is a revision. Take a look. Read it for 30 minutes. Compare these 2 sentences. The second one is easy as a breeze, right? The second type of metadiscourse that you can leave out is the type that announces your topic. This sentence, this section, this paragraph is about this and that. Take a look at the example. This section introduces another problem. The first thing to say about this, the first thing to say about it is these are typical examples of metadiscourse, which are safe to delete in this case. Take a look at the revision. Another problem is noise pollution. First, it exists, so on, blah, blah, blah. By reducing the metadiscourse, now the readers catch your topic, grasp your topic very easily, more ready. Let's move on. And of course, these constructions are very typical. One being in regard to or with regard to, and the other is so far as something is concerned, or as far as something is concerned. These two constructions all call attention to a topic. All of them want to remind the readers of the subject topic on hand. We might as well put the topic in the proper place, which is where? Where is the proper place for topic in the sentence? The subject. The very beginning, the subject part, the subject position is a very proper place for the topic to appear. You can't easily work these topics into a subject, as is suggested by the revisions of the two sentences. Take a look at the first revision. The most important feature of a vigorous style is short, concrete, so on and so forth. And take a look at back original sentence in regard to vigorous style. Of course, you can say that the revision, the most important feature of the vigorous style as a subject is a bit long, right? The original sentence has its own merit. It opens up with an introductory phrase, in regard to. And then the subject part is comparatively short, the most important feature. Look, the original sentence has its own merit because in the construction of this sentence, other rules we mentioned previously are followed strictly, such as opening a sentence with an introductory phrase, short prepositional phrase. Okay? Make the subject as simple and short as possible. Original sentence has its own merit. But taken as a whole, if you read a whole sentence, you will see there are things that are not so straightforward, that are not direct, by employing this prepositional phrase in regard to, so on and so forth. And the revision, though the most important feature of the vigorous style as a subject, it's longer, but it makes other things simpler in the sentence, such as the topic of the sentence, which is also a very important aspect of sentence construction. You let the readers know in the very beginning what the sentence is about, what the paragraph is about. And the second example is even better, is even more interesting. Take a look at the second sentence, second example, which is this one. As far as China's industrial development is concerned, very long opening clause, but the revision, look, very neat. The subject is China, and then has surpassed, very short verb, much neater and tidier, much more easily graspable by the readers. And if you take a longer look, you will find not only the subject part has been changed, but also the topic subject part in the original sentence is about China's industrial development. The revision has changed it into China. The subject topic part has been significantly shortened. Then what about industrial development? It doesn't matter. It's been moved to the latter part, the ending part of the sentence. So, clever moves, clever tricks employed by the writer. And of course, it depends on the writing scheme of your general layout of a paragraph. If you want, for example, next, the upcoming sentence is about industrial development. Of course, this sentence has to end with industrial development in order to create that old to new information flow. So another law, another principle is followed in this case.